Fort Lewis soldiers train here in the U.S. to spot suicide attacks, and that training continues, of course, when the troops actually deploy to the war zone.
Our King 5 News team got an exclusive look inside one of those chaotic simulations while on the ground at Camp Anaconda. King 5's Pat McReynolds returned from Iraq to bring us this report. Pat.
Now, Lori, even in simulation, it was impossible for the soldiers to escape without any injury. Now, as you're about to see, suicide attacks happen quickly with little or no warning. It is a reality that our local troops in Balad face every day.
Let's focus on the training today because we have a serious mission tomorrow. If we have a flat tire, we're changing the tire. If we have somebody that needs medevac, we're going to put them on a litter if that's what's needed, and we're going to get them out.
Lieutenant Rachel Asherbranner is about to perform skills they never taught her at Gig Harbor High School.
Does anybody have any questions about what's happening? So this is the first time we've had the opportunity to come out and get this realistic with the training because we've got such an important mission coming up.
In less than 24 hours, she will lead this convoy from the 29th Signal Battalion all the way across Iraq into Kuwait.
It's radio check, over.
The question of an attack from insurgents isn't if, but when.
6, move out at this time, over.
That's why they are using the last few hours of relative safety simulating what could happen tomorrow, starting with a simple flat tire and some threatening foreigners.
Be advised, 5 apologies, over.
Roger, 1105, local nationals, over. Miller, you got him?
Yes, ma'am.
Miller, cover those guys. Watch their hands. Watch their hands. We got one moving towards us. Keep him away from the truck.
Keep him moving.
Keep
Get away from the truck. Back up from the truck.
Roger.
Back up from the truck.
Roger. American. Jorgensen, get those guys away from our truck. Hey, who's got a flat?
Asherbranner keeps her soldiers sharp.
What's the time on the tire change, over?
We're going to need another 5 minutes.
Jorgensen.
Calling out orders to men who on average are a foot taller than her.
Miller, how does it look? It's hard to yell at these guys, but most of the time, we'll break into a smile and laugh and joke about it. Sergeant Howard, what do we got? When I first came here, I treated them with respect. Everybody's a person, whether they're a PFC or a sergeant first class or a captain. I think I treat them how I want to be treated.
Those relationships are about to be tested under fire.
Hey, what's going on?
With the stress of a deadly attack.
C1 is damaged by suicide bomber.
Hey, what's going on?
The young lieutenant wanted to be a doctor and still wonders sometimes how she ended up in the Signal Battalion and in this part of the war.
I know these guys will, take care of me and I'll take care of them in the situation. If it happens to us, there's nothing we can do about it. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen.
What happened? Got hit in the left legs, hanging by the flesh just below the knee.
1-7, this is 1-6. I need backup jack up to 206. Move Aiden Litter team to HHC1, over.
Watching her in action, it's tough to picture a sensitive girl from Seattle who still cries every time she leaves home.
My boyfriend drove me to the airport, and I hugged him on the, SeaTac right there at where you drop him off. I didn't even want him to come inside, and I was crying. I gave him a hug and said, "I love you. I'll be home soon." And LZ team, I need you to start prepping an LZ. We're going to have to move.
But on this afternoon, she and her team know there is no time for nostalgia.
Jorgensen, mark our location. Get it on the GPS.
Daydreaming can get you killed.
When you're up and doing your mission, there's not really time to feel sorry for yourself or miss home too much.
When the smoke finally clears, 2 insurgents are dead, but they have critically wounded 2 soldiers. This is not an unrealistic scenario.
1, 2, 3, up.
But even after facing this test, Rachel remains undaunted.
I love it, actually. I'm glad I'm a lieutenant, because if you're any higher rank, you don't get to do this kind of stuff anymore. Sergeant Tracy, make sure we got his weapon. I've always told them that it's really about, I work for them, not the other way around. Go, go! I want to do whatever I can for those guys to make it better for them so they can do their job and we can accomplish the mission. I love it. I like where I am.
Now, the 29th Signal Battalion is a good example of how our soldiers are doing tasks that seem outside their job description. Now, they normally are in charge of setting up all of the wiring and communications on the base, but they are set to come home in a few weeks, and to do that, they have to convoy to Kuwait and escort their replacements all the way back to Balad. A dangerous last assignment, to say the least. Well, tomorrow we're going to go ahead and take you inside the base hospital, where injured soldiers are choppered in straight from the field. Their stories of survival are simply amazing.
That was a very exciting drill, just to watch them drill and hope that they don't have to actually experience that.
It's very chilling with the news that we've seen, of course, in the last couple of days.
Rumsfeld said today, force protection, #1 priority.
Yep.
Thanks, Pat.
Thank you.